the Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike, and I got my line mate Matt with me. And today, we're going to go over the Blackhawks' past couple games. We're going to go over some Blackhawks news. And just to start it off, Matt, there's a thing going on with Carey Price that we're going to talk about. Jason Robertson has been excellent. But let's start off with the Hawks. Hawks beat the Rangers the other day, 5-2. Everybody was very, very surprised by the outcome of this game. But honestly, I think it was a little bit predictable. They just traded Ryan Reaves. Matt has mentioned that Ryan Reaves is one of those locker room guys, kind of a enforcer, but a glue guy at the same time. He's gone, and now they're on a bit of a trying to figure out what their identity is. So, Jacob Trouba's kind of out doing his thing, man on a mission, trying to give life to the team, and they're trying to figure it out. Matt, New York is a team that is, I believe, still in trying to get to that next level. They're getting into the playoffs, getting playoff success, and then ultimately trying to win a Stanley Cup. Last year they had a great opportunity because Igor Shesterkin was playing out of his mind. Typically, teams who win the Stanley Cup are guys who are, they're essentially everyone's playing out of their mind. They take advantage of that situation. They win the cup, and then sometimes they kind of fall off. Look at the Islanders making it to the Eastern Conference Finals and then, completely bowing out last year. What do you think is going on from a chemistry standpoint with New York right now?
Well, from what I've seen and heard from these interviews, there's something going on in that locker room. And I think trading Reaves was a big mistake. I know he doesn't, exactly light it up on the ice. That's not his job. He's in there to keep, guys loose. He's in there to make sure he's protecting his teammates,
Right.
And now you got your captain doing it, which I don't think that's, I applaud him for trying to spark his team, but he spent 10 minutes in the box for 2 fighting majors yesterday. That's way too long for a guy you're paying $8 million a year for to be a difference maker. And there's got to be something going on in that locker room. And Jacob Trouba kind of mentioned that in his post-game interview yesterday. And it seems like they got a locker room division, and they got to figure that out quick, or their coach is going to get canned. That's usually the first thing that happens.
I'll be honest with you, that's not necessarily something that you want to hear from your players talking to the media.
Especially your captain. That's not a good thing. And, we saw him yesterday. He was throwing his body around, and I credit the Hawks for, sticking up for themselves. Over the years, they really haven't been doing that. And, they wanted nothing to do with it. They said, hey, you're going to throw your body around like that, you're going to drop the gloves with us. And I think Trouba was fine. He's trying to spark his team any way he could. But, when you talked before the game, I predicted, I thought the Breadman would, usually when you play your former team, it's kind of like a big statement type of thing. Sure. Usually I thought he would get like 4 assists or something, and I only noticed him like maybe 2 shifts where he was just firing. He's got a great release, good shot, makes smart plays, but he didn't look that good at all last night.
Yeah, he didn't.
They just seem pretty flat, and they got to figure that out because they're a team that they're expected to make it eventually. They got the same core, they're locked up, and losing to the Blackhawks like that 5-2 is kind of ugly. I know Halak played, but Shesterkin can't play every game. You can't burn the guy out, so they got to figure it out pretty soon.
Do you think that they have a goalie situation going on there?
I think last year Shesterkin was very, very good, and they had a good backup last year too, man. They had that Gorgiev, I believe it was, Gorgiev. And they let him go to Colorado this year. And they signed Halak. Halak, he's been around for a long time. He's up there, but he didn't look that great yesterday. I'm not saying he looked bad, but good teams, like look at the Islanders. They got Sorokin, they got Varlamov, 2 really good Russian goalies. And if the Rangers might want to consider bringing another experienced backup in, because if they're going to ride Shesterkin, they might ride him too hard, and he's going to be dead by the first round. So that's what I think they need to do, and they need to get rid of the problem in the locker room. Even if it's a top guy, they got to figure it out, because they looked pretty bad last night against the Blackhawks.
So I knew after trading Reaves that something was going to be going on there. I went out on a limb. I said there was going to be a Hawks win 4-3. Me and Matt were both wrong, but it was really concerning seeing that this New York team is supposed to be a team that is supposed to be tough to deal with, and it didn't look like that the other night. But that being said, Patrick Kane and Domi's chemistry is makes you wonder if he's just has chemistry with everyone. But I think that Domi is getting the message that Kaner is going to be setting him up to shoot the puck. If you see that goal that he had the other night, Kaner was who were they playing, man? I forgot.
Oh, Edmonton. Yeah.
It was right in front of the net. Kaner attacked the puck, did a no look backwards pass, and Domi just fired it in. Hawks were down 4-1 going to the third period in that game, and it looked like it was over. It looked like it was over, and then with a minute and 20 seconds left, it was 5-4. They're trying to tie it. Team's got a lot of fight, man. They're not going to make it easy, but this team is what it is, and they're not designed to win. So that being said, Seth Jones is currently playing injured. I've noticed it. I've noticed that his passes aren't as good as they have been in the past. It doesn't really say much because I don't think that he's really that great of a passer, but I think that it's noticeable that his hand is bothering him. Do you think that maybe they should give this guy a little bit more time off to get, fully healed to play?
Yeah, I'm not really sure why they'd even rush it. It's not like we're trying to compete for a playoff spot or anything. Let the guy get healthy. You put a defenseman out there with one hand, he's pretty useless.
Right.
So give Ian Mitchell, Mitchell a shot. Put him out there and see what he can do.
Not sure why he's not playing in the first place.
The Caleb Jones thing, I really don't understand either. He's just doesn't. It's so frustrating watching him, just because he makes the same boneheaded passes up in the front of the slot in his own zone. Does. I mean, you got to stop that. I mean, there's a couple times last night too where the Hawks could have just put it off the glass, cleared the zone, changed it up. They didn't, and thank God the Rangers didn't score. But you got to get that puck. You can't hold it and just look for a beautiful pass every time. Sometimes you're not going to have a play. You got to clear it out and get off the ice. And I feel like Caleb Jones feels like he can hold the puck like Bobby Orr or something. He can't. He just can't. He's got to make smarter decisions, or he's going to find his way on an AHL team.
He's like our Eric Gustafsson 2.0.
Yeah, well, but at least this dude, Gustafsson, could, put up some good numbers. I'm not saying he's a good defenseman, but Jones is just...
We need to move him to the wing, man.
I don't know what they're doing.
I think he could be successful on the wing.
Call up Korchinski at this point. I'd like to see this kid. I think he should have made the team from the camp, but I know they're doing the right thing with the kid. But at this point, put him out there. Let him get some experience. Make all the mistakes you want, kid. Just get some game experience. Yeah,
this is what the NHL's like. This is what the speed is like. And here's the thing, man, because players can't really get prepared for this, because whether it's the MLB, whether it's the NFL, the NBA, the NHL is absolutely no different. The difference between the tier lower than the pro level and the pro level is it's a mile, man. It is a very, very, very big difference between what one minor league under is to the pros. It really is. And the only way that you can understand that or play it is to play it and to get in it. Practice doesn't practice doesn't compare. You have to get into the game. And I don't know why, Ian Mitchell isn't getting that experience right now. He looked good a couple years ago. He was obviously their number one defenseman in Rockford last year. I don't know why this kid isn't playing every night, and Caleb Jones is. I mean, to be honest with you, he could not be playing every night because he would give the Hawks a better chance to win games. That could be it. Do you think, that Davidson is like, hey, I'm cognizant of the fact that I have other players that can play, but I'm not going to play them because I don't want to hurt our chances come draft time. So I think that it could be, let Caleb Jones play out his contract sort of a thing. Just to see just give him tell Seth, say, hey, look, man, we gave this dude 3 years, and it's just not working out, man. You've seen it. Yeah. You've played with him. You've watched every game, So I know your mom's gonna be pissed off, but we're gonna let him go, and Ian Mitchell's gonna come. Ian Mitchell's gonna come back in. So I would like to see that.
Even with Reichel, man, like your statement,
like
Reichel. He's tearing it up down there, but like you said, it's still a miles different, being in the NHL. And he, at times, when they called him up, he was non-existent. You know, I mean, but eventually he's got to come up here to learn, because tearing it up in Rockford and just beating up on the B League guys, it's not going to do him any good. It's going to get his, he's going to stay in shape. He's going to develop a little bit, but he's got to be on the big club. In like Soderblom, when we went into that shootout with the Canadians, those big league scores, he looked lost, dude. Yeah. In that shootout, like that's just how crazy it is now.
Yeah,
like he could, you know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. That's when like, okay. You got lit up by 3 players,
and that's not, and you know what? It's not his fault though.
No, it's not his fault at all.
Because number one, he's supposed to be developing in Rockford right now, and right now he's our number one goalie. And to be honest with you, I think that Soderblom is doing a great job. But before I go any further into Soderblom's performance, because that's a point that I wanted to hit tonight, I want to let everybody know that it's never too early to play holiday music, and it's never too early to start thinking about gifts. Whether it's for a friend or the friends in your pants, you can make this a season to be jolly with Manscaped. Do your little drummer boy a favor and use the Lawnmower 4.0 to avoid another silent night in the bedroom. Then add in Manscaped's top-of-the-line shower products to have the people thinking, all I want for Christmas is you. Santa cares about his sack, and you should too. Look nice when you get naughty by going to manscaped.com and use our code Tomahawk20 for free shipping and 20% off. Personally, I've used this Lawnmower 4.0, and it's a hell of a lot better than using an old pair of clippers. So go on ahead, go to manscaped.com, use our code Tomahawk20, and you get 20% off of anything on the website. Now back to Soderblom. Soderblom, man, I think that he has a lot of potential. I think he's probably the third goalie that they've done this to, and they've just thrown him out into the woods, thrown him into the fire. Kevin Lankinen had a shutout the other night, a 48 shot shutout that I think maybe in his time with the Blackhawks of being thrown to the Wolves, just having some rough seasons and getting a lot of playing time has really helped him. And I've heard that he's actually playing pretty well in Nashville. So, credit to him. Congratulations to him. I like the guy. But Soderblom is someone that I noticed tonight, man. And I noticed when he plays, is his post-to-post play. I don't know if you tracked on the power play some shots that he was taking, but he was going post-to-post on some of them and getting some really, really good saves, which shows the promise that he has in his athletic ability. I think that he tracks the puck well. But like you said, when he was in the shutout, man, it was like they were doing whatever they wanted on him. And
he's very inexperienced still. Yeah,
and he didn't have a shot. Maybe they're like, hey, Kaner, we need you to take, 15 minutes and just light this kid up, kind of show him, what it's like, But what do you think of Soderblom, man?
No, I like him. I think he's pretty much our best prospect right now in that. And his post-to-post play, silky smooth, love it. I know a lot of these guys are comparing him to Corey Crawford. In my opinion, I think he's faster than Corey Crawford. Corey Crawford, his positioning is more poised, I think. He's very, very boring kind of goalie. Soderblom is he'll make a desperation save, like you said, his post-to-post fast. He'll get that toe out there and make a save. Good glove. Corey his technique was just very, what can I say? It was just not boring, but it was just almost he would stay very square to the puck every time, and he would just do his job, nothing flashy about it. And I think Soderblom, his speed is something that is going to make him successful if he does get a chance to be the starter here. I think it's still a little early. I think it was a good idea to get, like a guy like Mrazek and Stalock, but I think that at this point, I think Stalock is Stalock, however you want to say it. I think he's got that bad injury from that game. Geez, what was it, about a month ago now? That head injury from Zizekas?
Yeah, he's got a concussion.
Yeah, I wouldn't even rush him back at all. I'd keep this. I like what they're doing. They're kind of doing every other game, and that's good for him. You don't want to ride him 5 straight games and he's getting lit up. It's good for him. Even this new kid they just called up, give him a shot. Don't ride this guy. Let him develop at his own pace. And I think he could be a good goalie, man. But there's still a guy that we keep hearing about. I think what's his name? Drew Commesso.
Drew Commesso, yeah.
He's a guy I've been hearing a lot in the pipeline too. But who knows how long that'll take? The Hawks might want to put him in Rockford for 2-something seasons, and that's a long ways away.
Yeah, because he's got to get used to the schedule.
Yeah, because the NCAA, man, I mean, what do they play on the weekends and stuff? They don't play that many games. I mean, I was looking at some of these prospects' stats. Some of them only got like 5 goals this year and stuff, and they're like, oh, he's having a great season. And then you look at like Connor Bedard's numbers. This dude's got like 60 points in like 20 games and stuff. Like, these guys just play a lot more games, and that's why the junior kids, they can make the jump right away. These college kids really except like Jack Eichel, they really don't make that jump right away after they're drafted. So that's just something that it's a gamble with a goalie. You get lucky sometimes, and the Hawks really just haven't had good luck with goaltending. I think like Crawford even took a long time to develop. And
he did.
Before Crawford, sorry, man, it was Eddie Belfour. And sure, we had Jocelyn Thibault for a while.
What about my boy Jeff Hackett?
Well, Hackett was all right, but that was just another trade, too, back in the day. Like, you got Eddie Belfour, you bring in a Hackett kind of guy. I thought he was, decent and everything, but still, the Hawks just really haven't had luck with goaltending like these other teams. Some teams, look at the Rangers. Lundqvist retires, and they get Shesterkin. And before Lundqvist, it was Mike Richter. It's like, geez, it's like the freaking Green Bay quarterback stuff.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you got Nashville, who just drafts great goalies. They always find a good goalie. It's like, man, we can never just get that kid that's ready to make that jump, I really wish we could have got Spencer Knight that season. I think our goaltending, we would kind of be like in the Ducks situation. They got John Gibson, who's a really good goalie, but they just could never put a team in front of him. But if we had a guy like Spencer Knight, that's a dude you can, build a defense around, like Korchinski, all these other guys coming up, Del Mestro, whatever his name is. Like, man, we'd be way ahead of this rebuild. But we're banking on Soderblom and maybe that Commesso to be the future. So, and it might not work out. We thought Lincoln would work out, and it didn't. So
yeah,
you just got to hope for the best with these guys.
What's going on in New York, it makes you wonder. There's been rumors that Patrick Kane, would waive his no trade request to a couple teams, and one of them, the rumor being New York, because it seems like every year, every free agent is linked to New York. Why would he want to leave for New York?
After last night, I don't think I would.
I wouldn't.
After you see, you got a guy running around, the whole game trying to wake his team up. That ain't a good sign, and it has to be your captain.
Right.
I mean, you lost to a team that's in a pretty much full rebuild now, and Mrazek's not the best of goalies, and then he got hurt after 2 periods, and they called up Soderblom, and he did a good job and everything, but this team, they have, how much money is invested in Panarin? I think it's close to $9 million a year.
10 million a year, I thought.
10 million a year. They got Mika Zibanejad. I think he's at 8. Chris
Yeah.
Kreider, he scored 50-something goals last year. They got the 2 youngsters, Lafreniere, Kakko. The back end with obviously Trouba. Adam Fox was a Norris winner. Like this, there's no excuse why these guys shouldn't have they should have lit the Hawks up like at least 8-0 last night.
Yeah.
And they look terrible. And if I'm Kaner, you got to see that. I know Panarin's your boy and everything. I mean, I think it would be awesome to see them reunited, but like, what are you going to, we want to go there for 20 games and a first round exit? What's the point? You got to move your family and stuff? Come on, man.
Yeah, fuck that. He doesn't want to do that, man. He was, with Marian Host's jersey retirement, he's probably like, why do I want to leave? I get to go home, see my kid,
Yeah.
when I go home. Because I know his wife and his kid goes to every one of his games.
Yeah, she's from this area.
She's from Chicago, and he skates over and sees his kid, and I'll tell you what, man, I've seen Kaner smile a lot, man, but not like how he does when he smiles at his kid,
Oh yeah,
and you can see that, and he might just say, hey, you know what, it means too much to me. To go like a couple months not seeing my kid to win a cup that I've won 3 times already. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean,
there's no guarantee either that you win the cup.
Especially seeing that. It's not like you're going to like Colorado where you're like, oh yeah, man, I can go. We can put up some freaking points there.
They're really, and if you think about it, he can control the trade. What if the trade's not good for the Hawks? He could be like, yeah, you know what? The Hawks aren't getting enough for me right now.
Right.
I deserve 2 first-round picks and a top prospect. And I'm not. They're not going to give me that. I could just stay here, and then I can re-sign cheaper.
Yeah,
I like it here. I would. Yeah, at this point, I think I would.
I'm a legend here. I don't have to pay for a beer when I go out to the bar anywhere I go. I'm a walking legend here.
You know what though? We got to give a little shout out to Chris Letang. He just had a stroke. I hope he's doing all right and everything.
Yeah.
But he's going to be on long time IR. Would that make you think like maybe the Penguins might make a little pitch for Kaner now because they're going to have that open cap space? I don't know. I don't think the Pens are, that great of a team or anything, but pretty interesting if, they could swing a Kane half his Hawks eat half the salary and Kaner and Crosby on the same team and Malkin. Oof, man, that'd be pretty crazy. But I don't know. That's like the one team right now that if I'm Kane, that's like the one team I'd probably be okay with. Even Edmonton, I don't think so at this point. I mean, they signed Jack Campbell. I was really high on that signing, and
we both were.
He's really not been doing much. The other guy Skinner's been playing. I don't think Kaner would want to go all the way to Canada, go through all that visa crap. It ain't worth it. So I know Duncan Keith is his boy. He's in the front office and everything, but I don't know. I know Kaner watches the playoffs. He can't be really that much impressed with what Edmonton's done. I mean, sure they won a couple of series, but then they got lit up, So
by a real team.
There's really not many teams like if you're gonna get traded and waive your no trade clause, you're going all in for a win. I just don't see. The teams that could, like you said, Colorado, they're not going to have the space to do it, or they don't have the draft capital. And why would the Blackhawks want a 31st first-round pick? I mean, it's another first-round pick and everything, but it wouldn't be worth it to me. I think I'd rather hang on to him. Taves, on the other hand, I think if somebody were interested, I could see, like a team that's trying to get over that playoff hump. I think, maybe Detroit, if they make it, they'd make a pitch for Taser, even Winnipeg, and, it's his hometown and everything. But Kaner, I don't know. I don't see anything that would benefit Kaner.
Yeah, I don't either, especially when it's like, you look at Edmonton, if McDavid goes down, your chances go through the bottom of the barrel. And that's not a knock on Leon Draisaitl, because I think that he is a great player. But he's not a generational player like Connor McDavid is. Kind of like, Taves and Kane. Taves is an elite player, but Kaner's, a generational player. when you look at McDavid, he's a generational player, and Draisaitl is an elite player. I mean, to be honest with you, I look at Patrick Kane as probably the best passer in the NHL.
Agreed.
I would put Draisaitl at probably number 2. And
I like that.
It's pretty close, man, because he's like Kaner, is very good on the backhand and the forehand. Some guys can only sauce it up one way, and Draisaitl, he is elite, but he can't carry Edmonton through the playoffs because there's just too many deep defensive liabilities there. I mean, look at them, man. They barely beat the Blackhawks the other day. The Blackhawks are designed to fail, and they barely got out of that game. I don't see Kaner wanting to go there.
You know what, man? What about Dallas? I know it's a divisional team. You don't really, that's rule number 1. You never trade with your division. You never give a draft pick away that it can come back and haunt you. But that's a team that is making a lot of noise right now. And you got Jason Robertson is absolutely tearing it up. I don't know if you remember, they had Dale Talon in the booth last year with Pat Foley. Dale Talon was so ticked off that he missed out on Robertson when he was with the Panthers. Said this kid's going to be a future 40 goal scorer, and sure enough, look, he's at 20 right now, dude. Dale Talon, pretty much money when it comes to drafting. I think he's very good, but can you imagine Kaner, Robertson on the same team? And then you got your secondary guys, Jamie Benn, I know he's getting old, Tyler Seguin, Joe Pavelski's a very underrated guy, playoff dude. Rupe Hintz, their future first-line center, just signed a deal. And, man, that would be a team. Maybe that would be a team I could see Kaner waving to, but I just don't know if they have really much to offer for us right now.
I don't think they have anything to offer us right now, but you were, you hit the nail on the head with the team. Jason Robertson is the future of that team, and he's been consistent ever since he got into the NHL. Him and Kaner, Kaner could just set him up all day, but how much left in the tank does Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin have,
Yeah. The only highlights I see of Jamie Benn are him fighting and getting wrecked lately.
And he used to be a 40 goal scorer. Yeah. And Tyler Seguin, what does he have left? Because I know he's had injury issues.
I don't hear anything about him anymore. Nothing.
His game was speed, and he had a good shot. His body's breaking down. What does he have left? I don't think it's a good situation for him. I think that he could have instant chemistry with Jason Robertson, and they are playing well right now, but I don't think that they'll be able to sustain their play through the season, much less into the playoffs. And Patrick Sharp, after today's Islanders game, said that what people don't understand is what the playoffs does to your body. He said if they didn't go so deep in the playoffs so often, that it wouldn't have cut his career short. And Vosters was like, would you unequivocally say that your career was shortened because of playing in the playoffs? And he's like, absolutely, it did.
Oh yeah.
So makes
probably
you wonder,
hosted too.
Oh yeah,
all those guys. Jarmelson, that dude probably. All those shots blocked probably took 7 years off his life, you know? So, yeah, I definitely, that's a true statement by Sharpie.
And a guy who knows. So, I don't see Dallas able to sustain it, and that's why I don't see Kaner going there. I don't really see anybody out there with unless somebody's looking for like a top 10, 2024, 2025 draft, then maybe, but I don't see anybody having anything that's in the top 10 this year that's willing to give that up.
No, nobody. They're going to try to get that first rounder all they can.
Right.
And what's crazy is, St.
We can't let Kaner go.
Right.
We can't let Kaner go for anything less than a first rounder.
Quite honestly, I would want a lot more than that. I mean, Brandon Hagel, got us 2 first-round picks at the deadline last year. I mean, Claude Giroux got a first-round pick, a top prospect, and something else. I think it was a third-round pick,
right,
with the Panthers. So, Kaner should be banking in a lot of money here. But you know what? I think it's just as valuable if he stays, and if he re-signs a deal that would, make a lot of Hawks fans very happy. And you know what? He still does his job. He's still going to put up good numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like a Crosby type player, a type of player that can play deep into his career and still contribute.
Yep.
So, what's going on with Binnington, man, in St. Louis? I wanted to bring that up to you.
Well, oh man, he's been pretty much a big head case lately. He's been having a lot of issues, and the team's not playing well. He's not playing well. I think last night he was pulled against Pittsburgh, starting trouble with Jason Zucker. I think Jason Zucker was going behind the net after Binnington, he stopped it to, leave it for his teammate, and Zucker was coming around, and Binnington sticks the blocker out right in the face, knocks him down, gets a penalty. He's chirping, and he plays with an edge. He's kind of a crazy goalie.
Belongs in St. Louis.
Yeah. Well, then he gets pulled, and as he's skating to the bench, he's yelling at Jason Zucker, blah, blah, blah. And Zucker is just laughing like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Like, what's this guy's deal? Then they show another highlight of him skating back to the crease. He completely falls on his butt, knocks the net off. It's just like one of those bad nights for him. But this isn't the first time it's happened. He loses his mind. He'll go after guys. He'll slash them. And Craig Berube actually called him out after the game. He goes, "This stuff needs to stop. We're taking too many penalties. We're losing too many games. He's got to get his head right." So that's when you like, hey, we let Ville Husso go, and you know what, Ville Husso was definitely the better goalie last year, but they couldn't pay him because of this Binnington contract. So the Blues are paying for it right now, bad, man,
big time. And okay, I wanted to get you on that, and I wanted to talk about Carey Price.
Yeah, that's
seems to be the big thing right now.
Big thing on Twitter right now is Carey Price posting a picture of him in his camel fatigues hunting with his rifle, saying that he's opposed to the Prime Minister's gun law. I'm not sure really what's going on up there. They call it a gun grab. But all he said was, "I love my family, I love my neighbor, I love hunting, and I'm not a bad person, I'm not a criminal, and I disagree with the Prime Minister." And so far, I would say it's probably about 50-50 in Canada right now. A lot of people are really supportive of him and his opinion. Then the other half are, calling him Theo Fleury Jr. type of thing with the whole Freedom Convoy thing that, was going on last year.
Right.
So, me personally, I'm also a gun guy. I hunted with my dad as a kid, and our guns never came out of our safes and shot innocent people, and that's pretty much what he's saying. He's like, I just want to hunt and be left alone, and live my life, and I don't want the government telling me what I can and can't do. And I'm with him, man. I'm personally, it's freedom.
Yeah, it makes you realize that the different laws that they have in Canada compared to the United States. Obviously, we watch him. We know of Carey Price being a Canadians player, but when it starts getting into the political realm of what he does in his free time and what he likes to do, I don't know how that can change your opinion of the guy, considering how much charity that he's done, over the years, that just because he likes to hunt, people are saying these things about him, which I think is bullshit. But, I like the guy. He's always been a likable guy. As a matter of fact, he's always been a very respected player. I don't know how that can change or people can turn on him the way that it has, recently on, you could say on social media.
Yeah, it's just all he did was post his, rifle. It's not like he didn't hold up a dead animal or anything. I know some people would get crazy about that and everything.
If he eats it, what's the problem?
That's life. if you eat steak, that cow that you're eating was killed by a farmer
right
before they cut him. They cut him up and everything. But go back to 2020. Carey and his wife, they donated $50,000 to help children get food with the health. It was like a health nutrition thing for schools, I think.
Right.
$50,000. I don't know if, and then the famous video of him after practice, he went up to this young man that, recently lost his mom to cancer. He talked to him like he was just a regular human being. Like he gave him a hug, he signed his stick, he took a jersey off his back, he brought him to the All-Star, or actually brought him to the NHL awards show to bring him on stage and say, hey, this kid has been through a lot. He's an awesome kid. We're going to fly him out to the All-Star game next year. We want him to be a part of it. And he's just a good dude, man. And, he's had a lot of mental issues last year. He needed to take a break, he was having knee problems too. But it seemed like he was just worn out after that cup run they had against, what was that? Who did they lose? Tampa, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. They lost to Tampa, and that the Canadians were not supposed to be there. It was Carey Price and Philip Deneau carrying that whole team, and I think that really took a toll on Carey's mental health. After a while, he needed a break, and I think he actually had to get on the substance abuse program as well this year. Probably having some issues, and I hope he's fine. I hope he's living his life with his family. I know he's got some beautiful kids. He's got a beautiful wife, and he's a good dude, man. I don't know why people take it to the extreme.
Yeah.
If you don't like guns, okay, man. You don't like guns, but this dude does. So it doesn't make him a bad person. This is the problem with everything lately. It's just the division. The both sides are just so far apart, and it's just aggravating, man. I want nothing to do with the political crap anymore. It's like aggravating as hell.
It is. And you know what, man? It's hard not to dive into it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I'm glad we talked about it because I stand behind him.
I do too.
It's his right. If he's a good dude. Carey Price will never walk into a place and open fire on people. He's a good-hearted man, and they're treating him like he's some sort of
he's done it
like an American. Like all these mass shooters in America. It's ridiculous. These people, and they're treating him like that. You can't put him in the same category as that. Come on, dude. There's so many good people out there that, enjoy shooting guns and shooting targets, hunting, and all kinds of stuff. But they're not bad people. Come on.
Right. So, all right, everybody. I want to thank everybody for listening. We're very, very appreciative. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. It's that season. It is the holiday season, which is my favorite time of year. Matt, thanks for being on, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, good to be back finally. We've been playing tag here and there, getting Dom on and stuff. It's good to be getting rolling here. My work season's ending, so I'm excited. We're gonna get some good guests. I think we're gonna have the guys from the Broadway block on from the Rangers. I believe next week after the second game. I think maybe 2 weeks. But hey, we got bragging rights as of now, so it's gonna be fun. Yeah, it's going to be fun. And if we could beat them again, oh boy, Ranger Land is in trouble.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Use our code Tomahawk20 at manscaped.com for 20% off. Don't forget that. And we'll catch you on the next one. This is Tomahawk, and we're out of here.